Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trade Station Getting Started. Today is Wednesday. It is May 22nd, and it's a beautiful day here in Houston. Hopefully, the weather is good where you're at. Just to go through some of the introductions and some of the announcements on this class. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Training and Education for TradeStation Securities. I'm happy to be here to talk a little bit about some of the functionality that it's in the mobile app. Let's use this opportunity to also interact with each other. We have a chat window that is part of the Zoom technology that you can use to interact with me. I'll be glancing at the chat comments and the questions once in a while. So if there's anything that you'd like to see demonstrated or you have questions on, please make sure you use the chat window for that purpose. As I said at the very beginning of the class, we're going to highlight some of the mobile apps that we have available for our clients. I'm not sure if everyone that's here is aware of this, but as a TradeStation client, you have access to multiple trading platforms. Last week, we did the TradeStation desktop, which is the one that has the more advanced type of tools and it has the most technical indicators. So if you're looking for something that it's the next level of platforms, the desktop is the one that, because you can take your mobile device anywhere and access your TradeStation account, check how your positions are doing, modify some orders if you need to. So I think there's a great value of using all these different platforms together so that you can have a full experience of the TradeStation platform. Before we get started, let's go through some of the disclosures. Just keep in mind that every symbol and idea that we talk about in this presentation is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations of TradeStation. Also, that active trading is not suitable for everyone, especially when you're trading options which carry a higher degree of risk. We all need to be aware of the risks of trading online. And we have all the links related to our disclosures right here on this PowerPoint slide. Please visit www.tradestation.com/important-information. All right. To get started, I'd like to ask those of you that are joined today in class, what type of phone or mobile device are you using? Is it an Android phone, or is it a iOS phone, or is it something else? Maybe Windows, or who else makes phones? I know there's other odd operating systems out there, but all right, James says that he's using Android. A lot of times, I've noticed that our classes, when we do the mobile presentation, we get the class split in two. Like half are using Android, half are using iOS. But for that purpose, we're wanting to show both on the screens. I'm going to switch over here to my screen so that I can show you exactly what I mean by that. All right, let me get rid of this. All right, perfect. And I have two my two phones. I have them connected here on my Zoom application, and you see them both at the same time, I hope. On the left-hand side, you see iOS, and on the right-hand side, you see Android. Recently, Android was upgraded to the new look and style of TradeStation Mobile. For those that are on iOS, you are probably using that version for some time already. But for Android, yes, I think it was last week that we switched over to this new looking app. And there may be things that you're missing. There may be things that you don't know where they are. Things have changed. The structure has changed as well. So it's a good way for us to get us familiarized with the functionality. Perfect. So Maurice has both phones, an Android and an iPhone. And that happens many times, especially if you have an iPad. Also, we have an iPad app that you can have on a tablet, and then you have an Android phone. So you can you can start using both if you like. And the reason why we recently upgraded Android is because we wanted to have parity between the two mobile experiences, because it was challenging, because I know many people switch phones. They go from Android to iOS or from iOS to Android. And, having to switch your application functionality was challenging because there's a learning curve involved. So having these two applications at parity so that if you switch from one phone to the next, you have the same user experience was very important for TradeStation. We wanted to have a seamless experience. And that way, especially when we do education, it's important that when we teach something, it's the same way on both platforms. For many years, I've had to pull up the two phones on my presentations because they were totally different. There may still be some differences between the two because I mean there's still a lot of work being done in the mobile apps to really make them equal, but for the most part, they're very similar. And we're gonna take a look at both right now and see how similar they are. Okay. But if you notice when you open up the mobile app, you are in what's called the home page of the application. The home page, let me see if I can bring my cursor in here. Okay. The question from James. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Why does it show the SIM accounts? Perfect. I'm not sure what you mean. Why does it show the SIM accounts? It's a question like because I mean the application, the mobile app is supposed to be connected to your simulated account as well. So you do have the option to switch between your live account and your simulated account. If you want to know where to switch, right here at the bottom of the application, just tap on the More button. I'm going to tap on More right here on iOS. And I'm also going to type on More. I mean, the button here is not labeled More, but it's the three dots. But if I tap on More, you have right here at the very top, you have this switch that lets you go from sim to live. So if you see your simulated accounts and you want to switch to live, this gives you a very nice toggle allowing you to switch back and forth. So you don't really have to close the application and reopen it. You can just go here and toggle between the two environments. Perfect. Let's go back to the home page, which is the button with the TradeStation logo. I'm going to do or press that button in both environments. And the first tab that, when you go to the home page that it goes to, I think it remembers where you were last time. So if you go to the home tab, it'll take you to the tab that you were on last. But notice at the very top of the applications, you have the three tabs: positions, orders, and balances. Just be aware that the buttons at the bottom will take you to a specific view, right? But that view may have additional tabs at the top. So even though I'm on the home tab or the home button right here at the bottom, I have three separate tabs that make up the home view, which is a view of my account, a view of my positions, my orders, and balances. The positions that you see on both of my phones are different because I'm logged into different TradeStation accounts. I had to do that because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but TradeStation does not allow multiple connections to the same TradeStation account. The reason for that is because of data entitlement. Many years ago, data exchanges started looking at how traders were using access to trading platforms, and it appears that they were providing a lot of these logins to maybe authorized traders or family members, and there were a lot of people that had access to TradeStation and real-time data. So they said, okay, we're only allowing one active connection to real-time data entitlements at a time. So that means that anybody that's connected to their desktops and they want to log into a mobile device, it'll say, hey, you are already connected. Do you want to disconnect that other account? And that's because the data exchanges wanted to, be sure that the individual that signed up for the data exchanges were the ones that were actually using the data for trading. And it wasn't like multiple terminals or multiple TradeStation platforms streaming real-time data simultaneously. That's the reason why we had to comply with the exchange's requirements of only one active connection at a time. However, if you do want your TradeStation to be connected on multiple devices at the same time, you can get what's called an additional login. An additional login is an additional, username password combination that allows you to keep TradeStation running on multiple devices. Of course, if you do get this second or additional login, you're going to have to be aware of the additional data fees, because when you get a second data login with the same data entitlements that you have on the original one, you're going to have to pay the data fees 2 times. So it's not like you're getting a freebie. It's just that we're setting up another completely separate login with the same data entitlements, and you'd have to pay those data fees an additional time. But it is possible, and this whole explanation just to let you know that it is possible for you to be connected on multiple devices simultaneously, but not with just one single username and password. It'll always prompt you to disconnect one and connect to the other. All right. So this is my positions view. I was just saying that I have different positions on both because I'm connected to different accounts. I can go through cleaning up my positions, but I'm not going to do that. Let's go ahead and point out a few things that I like about this view. One thing that we haven't added to the Android is the grid view. Let me bring my cursor in. Does everybody see this button right here? This button is not on Android. This button allows me to switch from a list view to what's called a grid view. Notice that I just tapped it, and this is a grid view, letting me, or my list of positions are shown it's a very simplistic view where I see, the logo of the corporation, I see the name, I see my position size, and all I see is today's P&L. Of course, you can change that. You can change, the information that's being displayed here. I think if you tap on today's P&L, well, that only sorts. Okay, if you tap it, you can see that you can show today's P&L, the open P&L from the time that you opened up the position, or the total cost. So you choose which data you want to display. For the most part, I like to see, today's P&L. But on the Android, you don't have that grid view. I think we're working on providing that functionality. But for now, on Android, you only see a list view. So let me switch my iOS to list view as well. Some of the positions that you see here that do not have a position quantity, it's because they expand into some derivatives. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you look down here, I have a single put, and I see that this is long one. I see also another put for USO. But if you see an underline like Tesla or Adobe or Best Buy, and you don't see a position size, it's probably because this underline expands to show multiple positions that cannot be combined into one single position. So let me demonstrate. Let me open up Adobe, and I'm just going to tap that little caret symbol on the left-hand side, and notice that I tapped it, and you have, 2 puts with different strikes, and then you have 2 calls with different strikes, and they all are different positions. And that's why we don't get an overall position size, is because we have all these derivatives based on Adobe in the options category. Of course, if I click on that caret button one more time, it'll collapse, but all the ones you see here without a position quantity, it's probably because they expand into showing multiple positions under each one of those underlines. Here on my iOS, I have one example for Tesla. Notice that Tesla is the only one that has a little caret symbol, and if I tap it, I only have a put here for Tesla. So maybe that's one of the differences as well. Because, for the single calls or single puts that I have on my Android, I don't see the underline category. It just lists the symbol for that particular option. In this case, it lists the symbol for the put option. And here's the symbol for, this is another put option for USO. But just be aware that there are going to be these carets next to an underline, allowing you to expand or contract the view. But this is a great view of my positions. And if I scroll down, it gives you an overall total. And you see that on both environments. For my iOS, my today's P&L is $132 loss. Since I opened up the trades, though, it's up $15,000. This is good that we get this breakdown, because you can see how you're doing today versus how the positions have done since you opened them, you know? Especially on days that are down days, you want to see how is it affecting your positions and how much money you're actually losing or making today. It may be a little bit confusing if there's a big negative day for you in the market and you still see a positive amount here for open P&L. So breaking it down into today's and the open P&L makes a lot of sense because you see how your account is being affected today, which every trader wants to know. Here on my Android, today I'm up $500 for my positions. I'm down $1,600 since I opened up the position. The realized row is 0 because I haven't closed any positions. If I were to close anything here on my account, I would get something realized. Let's go ahead and do that, for example, on my iOS. Let's say that I want to realize this spider profit of $16,000. Everybody sees that? So I'm going to close this spider position. Let me tap on spider and see what happens. I get this menu, so I'm just going to tap on close position. It opens up the order ticket. Right here at the top, it says you're closing one position at market. It tells me that it's 500 shares of spider. Gives me some information about it, where the account is being traded on, the estimated cost of the trade. Since I think spider is trading at $500, is it? So that's why the cost is $265,000, but I see my duration and the route intelligent. Let me send the order. It's sending the closing orders. You can see right there in the middle. Okay, failed to submit one order. Okay. Server issues, maybe. Let's try that one more time. Close position. Send order. Successfully submitted. Okay. So that went through. There we go. I was waiting for my numbers to refresh. Now you see that my open P&L changed drastically because now we have a closed position and we have some realized profits. That's why it was showing 0 before, is because I hadn't traded anything. On Android, we have the same behavior. Let's suppose that we want to get rid of some positions here. Let me see anything that's making money. I don't think anything is making money here. Well, we have to. Today's P&L is $510, but all these are still negative. Let's suppose that I want to close these two. I really don't want to close anything here on the Android device because I know this account is being used in some of our options presentations. This is something that I wanted to make you aware of. We're creating a lot of options education for those that are options traders in something that we call the Options Education Center. If you haven't been there, I encourage you to go there. Let me show you where it is because it's just a great education that's available for everyone. Once you go here to the TradeStation website, go to Learn, and you see Options Education. This is the Options Education Center. We have some option strategies that are explained in detailed articles. The most recent one that we posted was some credit spreads. You can click on any of these content cards and it'll open up an article which provides you an explanation of credit spreads. In this particular case, it highlights the bull put spread, detailed information on the article, risk reward graphs, how to implement that strategy on TradeStation, some real world examples. We have some custom workspaces, custom PDFs. So make sure you explore. This will help you in your options trading. And I wanted to point that out. And I remembered this because I was looking at my Android device and I saw these options positions is because that account is being used for a lot of the education. So let me not mess with the positions that are open because they may be being used for examples for these PDFs. Okay. All right. Let me close out of this. We talked about the different tabs at the top. So let me switch over to orders. I'm going to tap on orders on both phones. Orders will just show you any open orders if there are any. You can see that on my Android, I have no open orders. And on my iOS, I have oh, this is the one that I just got filled at. So this is my market order where I sold Spider at $531, and it gives me my order status. If I had any orders active on my Android, they would be listed there. Let me switch over to balances. The balance view is also similar. Let's see what are some of the differences here. On my equities side, you see on my Android, if I tap on equities, it's just only one account. The reason why this is a little different, let me go back to bound or tap in here again. How do I go back to the way that it was? Okay, this is my equities, stocks, and options. So if I tap, this is interesting because I wanted to go back to my view. And it doesn't seem to have, let me go to all accounts. Okay, there we go. Even me sometimes say, how do we do this again? So, okay, so when you go to the main balances view, hopefully this will refresh. Yes, you have your equities and your futures account, because I have an equities and a futures account, simulated account, connected to that account. Now, if you tap on equities, of course, it opens up your equities account. It tells you how much cash you have to withdraw. But if I scroll or, slide to the bottom, you can see your stock buying power, how many day trades until you're considered a pattern day trader. That information is important to some traders. Stocks value. And one thing that I wanted to show you also is if you tap on options, it tells you what level of options you're approved for. All that education that we are creating in the Options Education Center is based on your options approval level. So based on what level you're at, you may be allowed to trade certain options or not. So by going into the mobile device and going into the options view, you can tell which options level you're approved for. And if you think you should be approved for something different, then you can contact our client services department and they'll explain, the process to, for the accounts team to review that. So let's go ahead and take a look at, so what I was showing you that in here, if I open up my equities account and I wanted to go back, all I need to do is slide all the way to the top and everybody sees, the account number right here. I just tap up there and then select all accounts. Then it goes back to the original view. On my iOS, the difference is that I have multiple simulated accounts under each asset class. For my equities, instead of just having one, I have 3 different ones. If that is your case, if you have multiple brokerage accounts under each one of these asset classes, let's suppose that you have an individual account, and then you have a joint account, and then you have a corporate account, and you have all these accounts connected to your login, you would see something similar to this, where you have a main asset class telling you, okay, this is my combined equities balance, but then it breaks it down by account that is connected into your portfolio. And the same happens if I go here to futures. You can see that I have 3 separate simulated futures accounts, but I can tap on any of these. Let me tap on this top one, this top equities account, and then it goes into the detail of that equity account. I have some transfer functionality, but I do have the breakdown of the information that we saw on Android, where it tells me if I'm a day trading, if this is a pattern day trading account, or how many day trades I've placed before I'm considered a pattern day trading account. I'm also able to tap on options up here and see which options level I'm approved for. So that's information that is readily available from within the mobile app. Any questions so far? Feel free to ask any questions, even if it's a little bit off topic, because I'm going to make sure that anybody that's connected here in class walks away with answers and clarity. A lot of times you are in a webinar and something's not really clear, and then you kind of regret not asking that question. Okay, let me go back to the main view. All right, And again, this is all part of the home view, which is the TradeStation logo right there at the bottom. So anytime that you want to look at positions, orders, or balances, just tap on that TradeStation logo at the bottom, and it'll take you to that view. Let's go over here to the very first button, which is watch lists. I'm not sure why Android decided not to label the buttons. I think having a little label is a little bit more clear. Many times I have a bad memory. If I look at these three lines, I really don't don't remember what the button's for. Maybe I remember what the TradeStation logo is for, but a lot of these, they don't have a name. So I do like how iOS puts a label right under the button. I think it gives a little bit more clarity. Hopefully, in some of the updates, we'll have that name at the bottom. But that button on the far left is my watch lists, and it allows me to create lists of symbols. Both of these views are set to positions watch lists. So if that's a quick way for you to see how your portfolio is doing. You don't really have to create a watch list or a symbol list of all your open positions because the mobile app does it automatically for you. And all you need to do is tap up here where it says My Position Watch List and select it from the menu. Both have that menu, My Position Watch List, My Positions Watch List. And when you go there, it just gives you a full list of all your open positions. Here on iOS, I have more watch lists because I've probably created more. You can create custom watch lists and they'll be all listed here. On my Android, I haven't created any, but I believe I have futures and my quotes, which are the ones that I carried from an older version of a mobile app. But you can tap on the plus here or the edit button here and make any changes, create lists of your own. At this moment, I'm not sure what the limitation is in terms of how many symbols you can put into a watch list. I believe that has been increased multiple times. Last time I heard, I think it was 100 symbols. But if you run out of space in listing symbols, just create another watch list and you have another brand new list of symbols, okay? But all these lists are just available for you to tap on. Let me go ahead and tap on futures here on my Android. Okay, it loads up some futures. They are delayed. You can see the capital letter D in parentheses next to the symbol is just an indication that the data entitlements are delayed. But here on my iOS, I can tap on futures as well. And these futures seem to be real time. And you can see that they're all, the lists are different because they were created separately. Let me go back here to my quotes. On my Android and on my iOS, I'm going to go to my quotes. So these are the ones that are custom. Again, on my iOS, I have a little menu right up here that allows me to go into grid view. We have the same menu here on Android, but there's no grid view. I believe that's going to be added eventually, but you can edit the symbols. You can rename the watch list. You can on iOS, you can delete the watch list or go to a grid view. But so that we have a little bit of parity here in this presentation, I'm going to switch my iOS to list view. There we go. Now they're a little bit more similar. If I wanted to remove Apple on my Android, it's at the very top. And on my iOS is the second symbol. If I wanted to remove Apple, all I need to do is edit symbols, tap on the little red for Apple, and then say, I'm done. Okay, that is on my Android. On iOS, menu, edit symbols, tap on the red for Apple. Uh-oh, that didn't work as expected. Tap on the red for Apple, delete, and then done. And that's it. Very simple, right? From a watch list, you can go into a detailed view, and you do that by tapping on the symbol that you have on the list. Let's see. Let me sort the symbols on my iOS in alphabetical order, and I can do that by tapping on the symbol header. So symbol, I'm going to do it in descending order. I'll try it again, symbol and ascending order. So we have an alphabetical order on Android, I did the same thing. Okay. So I don't have matching symbols in both. I do have J and Jane, Johnson and Johnson, and Johnson and Johnson. Let me tap on that symbol, and it's going to take me to a detailed view. Now, the detailed view, you can see that the two are different is because it's going to fall on the tab that you were on last. So it remembers last time you were using the mobile app and which tab you were looking at. But the tabs are at the top. So you can see that there's 5: overview, chart, news, options, and matrix. The same here for Android: overview, chart, news, options, and matrix. On Android, I'm on a chart, and on iOS, I'm on options. Let me switch both to overview. So the overview gives you a line chart. My Android loaded. Okay, here we go. This is a line chart from the opening of the market. It's like an intraday chart. Let's see. It gives you, I believe, the 153.10 and the 150.10. Why are they different on both of my screens? I know the pricing is the same. So I want to know what this 153.10 and this 150.10 is. That's interesting. I'll have to find out what those are. Not what those are necessarily, but what they represent on the view. You have quick buttons that allow you to switch the view to 1 week. I would think that that's depending on the time frame, it's a high and a low. But I don't know why both are different, right? Like if I go to 1 day, this is 1 day from the opening of the market, and you can see that it has the exact same price. Both have the exact same price, but these lines are a little bit different. All right. So with the overview, you're going to get information that comes directly from Benzinga. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe this is because it's one is delayed, and it doesn't tell me that one is delayed. They both seem real time. And I'm not even sure why one says 54% from Benzinga and the other one says 53. Okay, let me go to the earnings calendar here. The earnings calendar is the same. The key stats are pretty much the same as well. You got these ranges. The day range from high to low. No, that matches here. So the lines that we saw on the chart are not the high and the low because we see the range here for the day, the week range, and we see the average price target. Now, this is interesting because from 40 to 215, I'm not sure how this is calculated. A lot of this data comes from Benzinga. So if you're wondering what this is exactly, I haven't done the research myself. Maybe I should, because I'm not really sure what the average price target is. I would assume that this little caret is where the current price is. But it'd be interesting to know what this is based on. And I suppose that if we all went to the Benzinga website, we would know a little bit more about how that is calculated. So this is the information about Johnson & Johnson, and that's it. Johnson & Johnson was founded in 1887. That's interesting. And you can see at the very, very bottom that it says provided by Benzinga. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have full disclosure on the explanation of these values. But the nice thing is that we've connected with Benzinga to provide you with a lot of information related to symbol statistics and also on news. If everyone switches to news, these are news that are provided by Benzinga on both platforms, so that makes it very, very useful. So in addition to that, you both environments have access to a chart. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. And the chart is pretty straightforward. You can use the pinch and zoom to go through the chart. Very simple to use. You have these very clear buy and sell buttons at the top. So quick order entry buttons if you wanted to place a trade. You also have this big blue button trade at the bottom to place a trade. And you can even tap on the background of the chart to get this little box called the data tips window that also has a trading button. So to trade, we provide you multiple ways in which to enter your order, either tapping on the chart, tapping on the button to the top, tapping the button at the bottom. It's all the same. Let's go ahead and put in a trade that is an entry with a profit target and a stop, which I think it's one of the nice things to do on the mobile app because it makes it very simple. I'm going to buy Johnson & Johnson. I see that it's trading at 152.83. I'm going to buy it if it drops to 152. So somewhere around here. The current price is 152.84. My entry is going to be 152. I'm going to sell this at 158 at the target, and I'm going to set a stop right here at 150. How do I put in that trade? Seems very simple. I just described it, but how do I enter it? Well, let's go ahead and put in or tap on trade at the bottom. I'm going to do that on both environments. This will open up the order ticket. I'm going to buy 100 shares on both. So they're both set to 100. You can see the quantity and the quantity over here. I see the account number. They are going to be different because I'm connected to 2 different environments. I want to buy it at 152 even. So let me go ahead and drop the price here to 152 even. And I'm going to do the same thing here on my Android. Yeah, I need my Samsung keyboard. Okay, there we go. And I'll do 00. Perfect. And at this point, that's interesting. I thought, this is one of the places where you don't have full parity. For example, on my Android, you can see that I don't have the take profit order or the stop loss order. So that is something that's being worked on as we speak. So in order for you to do that on Android, you have to do it a little bit different. But let me go ahead and do it the iOS first, and then I'll switch it over to the Android so you can see how it's done. I'm going to tap on the take profit. And I said that I wanted to take my profit at 158 even. And then I'm going to turn on a stop loss. And I wanted to set my stop loss at 150 even. Both orders are GTC, so they're good till cancel. And that's it. All I need to do is review the order. So mine 100 and 152, you can always double check your confirmation. I'm selling at 150 stop, and I'm selling at 158 limit. I tap on send orders, and I tap on OK. And you can see how the 2 orders are there. 3 orders. You have the blue one that enters at 152, and then you have the bracket on the chart, keeping an eye on your profit target and your stop loss. If I wanted to do that here on my Android, I'd have to switch my order to OCO OSO. See the tab up here? The type of OSO, eventually this will all be the same. I'm going to do an OSO with a bracket. And if I move up, you can see the structure of this order where you have the primary and then you have the secondary one. So I'm going to tap on the primary and set it to 152 even. Collapse. Open up my target. Set it to 158. And is this a GTC? It's a day order, so let's set it to GTC. I'm going to collapse my target, and let me go ahead and open up my stop, which will be at 150. Uh-oh. I keep on switching to my keyboard. So 150, and it's going to be a GTC as well. Let me collapse this and then review the orders. I do see my confirmation. I am buying 100 at 152, selling at a target of 158, and then I have my stop here at 150. Let me go ahead and send the orders and OK. So it may be a little bit lengthier on the Android, still very intuitive. It requires a little bit more tapping, but eventually we'll have parity between the two. iOS has the very convenient take profit and stop loss buttons that allow you to set those on the same order ticket. On Android, you do have to switch to OCO OSO. So a couple more things that I wanted to point out before I let you guys go. You can trade options from within both environments. Notice that options is a tab at the very top, and it, aligns strikes right there in the middle. You have calls on the left-hand side, puts on the right. Of course, you can go to a drop down here that gives you access to popular option strategies that you can trade. I'm not sure why my Android is doing that. Let me go ahead and tap on something here from this drop down. Let's say that I tap on vertical. Okay, and then the options come back. So, but the functionality is pretty cool. You can trade options from within the iOS. I guess that was very clear from the very beginning when we were looking at my list of options. I had a whole bunch of options positions opened up in my accounts. But again, from here, if you want to go back to the original view, just tap on the back button right here on the top left corner. It'll send you to the watch list that you were on initially. And last, go to the markets view right here at the bottom. That's the fourth button from the left, because you're going to find a lot of good information here. For example, hot lists. You're going to find information from Benzinga as to why a stock is moving, and you can cycle through different, securities and the reason why they're moving. You have your sector ETFs. You have a section on news. And then you have your analyst ratings with some calendar, like here's some earnings. So make sure that you look at all the different functionality that is available here in markets, because it'll give you an overview of what's happening at any given time. And of course, I mean, we already went to the more menu. The more menu gives you access to, settings of the app. If you wanted to modify, confirmations, if you want to do some alerting, if you wanted to transfer funds, if you want to access support. So those are the things that are available on that menu if you wanted to take a look, okay? Right, so this is my class for today. I wanted to give you a brief overview of what's available on the mobile apps. The class is being recorded, so you'll have an opportunity to play it back. We'll always have the recordings available of prior sessions. Let me show you where they are. If I open up a browser with the TradeStation website, just go to the Learn section up here, and there's an item here labeled Getting Started. If you go there, not only does it give you an opportunity to schedule for an upcoming live webinar, but if you scroll down, we have video archives. So these are the ones that we've done in the past. So if you're looking for an overview of any of these presentations or any of these platforms, you can just go here and watch that video if you want to, okay? All right. All right. I see your question, Innocent. Have you been able to figure it out though? Because that's the main thing. So you're wanting to close open trades on your iPhone or roll your SPX options. So we can take a look at that if you'd like, Thank you, Maurice. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's go here to my mobile apps, and let's take a look at when you say close an open trade. You're talking about an open position, or are you talking about an open order? Because an open position is something that you own in your account, and you have the shares and you have the contracts. And if you're wanting to close that, I can show you that. But if it's an order you are submitting, like I want to buy 100 shares of Microsoft, and it's sitting there, we call that an open order. So is it an open order or an open position? Let me go here. While we're doing that, let me go back here to the home menu. So at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about the home view of the application. So there you can access it by tapping on the TradeStation logo at the bottom. And in the home view, you have your open position. Thank you for letting me know. So you have your positions list. So I can tap on positions at the top, and it gives me access to any open position that it's in my account. So from what you're saying, I see that you're probably trading SPX options. Let's go ahead and put in some SPX options in my account. I have some options positions here in my Android, but I want to do it on the one that I use. This is being used for educational purpose. So let me go ahead and trade some options in SPX. Let me go here to the trade button. Let me go here to the symbol, which is $SPX dot X. I'm going to tap it. All right. I see some options here. Let's say that I want to trade a vertical. All right. Let me buy into that vertical. You know, it sends those two right there at the bottom. This expires June 21st, which is a month from today. That's fine. Let me trade these. I'm going to tap on trade. And I'm going to buy this at market, something that I would sometimes would not do. But as a market order, I just want to make sure that I get filled in my simulator. Okay, so I got filled on a vertical for SPX. Now, if I wanted to roll the trade or close it, what I need to do is, well, first of all, I need to get out of this view. So let me go back here. Tap on the home menu, which is the TradeStation logo at the bottom. And in my positions tab, you can see that I have an SPX category. And if I open it, I see my the two calls that I bought. This is the vertical that I traded just a moment ago. So if I wanted to close the trade, all I need to do is tap on those check boxes to select the two legs. That's the way that you close the vertical, by selecting the two legs, and you can trade it or roll it. So the rolling and the trading and the closing are all part of the same menu. All you need to do is make sure that you know where the positions are listed, and the positions are listed by going to the TradeStation logo and then tapping on positions. You have to be aware that your options details are probably inside the underline. So when I tapped on this little caret, this is all I saw, SPX. I didn't see the specific options, but be aware that there's a little caret that allows you to expand the underline and see the details of those specific options you were trading. Also be aware that you have check boxes that you have to tap on in order to select both legs at the same time. Let me go ahead and do that one more time. Now, as I tap on the check boxes, then the menus appear at the bottom, allowing you to roll, trade, or close. All right. In a sense, I'm sorry, but I don't have a way right now for you to share the screen with me. But if you send me screenshots of what you're seeing, I can probably help you out, okay? Our education email address is education@tradestation.com. Let me share that with everyone here. All right, and you're welcome to send us any screenshots there, and I can definitely take a look, okay? All right, this is the end of my presentation. I want to appreciate the time you guys spent with me today. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Our upcoming class, make sure that you visit the events page. That's also part of the Learn dropdown. So if you go to TradeStation.com, go to Learn, you'll find an events section there. Take a look, because we have great topics upcoming, especially some great options education in the near future. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.